being here today for our first ever BLK RVA virtual happy hour. Thank you. Yay! I have the pleasure of thanking again our sponsors for joining us today and also giving a toast to our featured wine, Shoe Crazy Wine. I don't know if you guys have it. Wynn Hurt is the founder of Shoe Crazy Wine. She attended Lincoln University, Hong Kong's University Executive Leadership Program, and most recently, the Goldman Sachs 10K Small Business Program. Thus, she has garnered the skills that allow her to lead her company. In 2013, hardship struck. Gwen was downsized by her company, and 2 days later, she and her daughter Brittany were in a car accident. These challenges changed the direction of Gwen's career. She would embark on a journey of entrepreneurship by creating a wine company, Shoe Crazy Wine. Shoe Crazy Wine can be found in RVA at Walmart, Total Wine, Costco, Market at 25th, Little Wine Shop, the Navy, Coast Guard Exchange, and online. Gwen says that Shoe Crazy Wine can be found as a brand that first and foremost was created by a woman for women. So exceptional wine for exceptional women. All right, cheers. Thank you. Let me go ahead and now move forward to give you a little bit about Black RVA. I'm super excited for our panelists being here today. I'm even more excited about the fun that we're going to have together and everything that you're going to learn on this very important virtual happy hour. So BLK RVA is a community-driven campaign of RRT, Richmond Region Tourism, and it was created in August of 2019. It is designed to shine a spotlight on and drive visitor spending to RVA's Black-owned businesses and organizations. It is said that 1 in 4 Black people can trace their roots through Richmond. However, many do not return to Richmond to visit. We want to change that because we know that Richmond history is Americans' history. And so we want to be able to let the world know about Black RVA and that we're here. BLK RVA is managed upon 4 pillars. We have arts and entertainment, we have food and beverage, history, and community. And upon those 4 pillars, we created the theme Rooted in Rising. Rooted in history to feature businesses such as African American churches, Allegra Folklore Society, the Black History Museum, and then rising to several businesses such as Urban Hang Suite, Viewers Cafe, and the Juice Bar, and many, many, many more organizations are on the rise every single day. So if you are a tourism-based business here today and you want to be a part of Richmond Region Tourism and a part of Black RVA, please reach out to us. You can go directly to visitRichmondVA.com to create your own listing. You can also follow us on all social media handles at Visit Black RVA, visit BLKRVA.com, and also visit BLKRVA. And also, if you want to send a direct email to our CRM lead, her name is Courtney White. She's at cwhite@visitrichmondva.com. And I am, as a community relations manager, I am here also to help you, and you can reach out to me directly at tjefferson@visitrichmondva.com. And I'm pretty sure my information will go out at the end of this recording. Next, let's get into our panelists. Again, I have the pleasure of introducing Adam Hill. We want to again thank our sponsors, Atlantic Union. And Adam is the Vice President of Commercial Banking, serving in Atlantic Union Bank's Richmond Region. Adam has worked with Atlantic Union for 13 years, most of that time in commercial lending. In addition to working with the bank, Adam has been a longtime member of Virginia's Banking Association, Emerging Bank Leaders Group, with a focus on political advocacy. When Adam is not working, he enjoys spending time with his family, having been blessed with 3 sons, Jackson, Isaac, and Foster. Adam, thank you so much for being here today, and please take it away.
Thank you all so much for having me. I do want to apologize on Nathalia's behalf that she wasn't able to be here with you all. She, part of her role with Atlantic Union is focusing on SBA financing and making sure we're getting loans out into the community. And obviously with everything going on with the payroll protection program, she has been sort of a central figure in making sure that our processes have worked correctly. So I apologize that Nathalia couldn't be here, but I am very happy to be able to be here on behalf of Atlantic Union Bank. I'm just going to take a little bit of my time to give a little background on Atlantic Union and talk about what our experience has been like with the PPP program, and maybe try to talk to you guys about some of the issues that we're running into with applicants. So if you or folks that you know are considering applying, you kind of know what to look out for. So just brief history on Atlantic Union Bank. Atlantic Union was founded in 1902 in Bowling Green, Virginia. So we have been around for a little while. We are headquartered in Richmond, Virginia, and we are the largest bank headquartered in the state. Operations focus heavily on Virginia, but also in Maryland and North Carolina. I work here in the Richmond region in commercial banking. So I'll jump right into PPP. I'm going to post a link in the chat just so that you guys have it. And this is a link to our website focused on the PPP program. I don't mean for this to be an advertisement or anything, but there's a lot of good information on that site. So if you have some general questions about applying, such as what documentation you might need to provide along with the application, most of that detail can be found there. Obviously, I will be here for the Q&A, so if you have specific questions later, I will be happy to try to answer those as much as the time will allow. So just to talk a little bit about what our experience has been like, since the first round of funding opened, I guess roughly 3 weeks ago, Atlantic Union has received over 12,000 applications. We are very fortunate that we have a strong team put together, and to date, as of at least about 30 minutes ago, we have been able to secure funding through the SBA for over 10,000 of those applications, and that process is continuing. We have teams that are working basically from 5 a.m. all the way till 2 a.m. In shifts trying to get these things through the program. And those 10,000 applications represent $1.9 billion in funding going to small businesses in our footprint, which again is largely Virginia, but also North Carolina and Maryland. The second round of funding opened up on Friday, or was approved on Friday, opening Monday. That was for an additional $310 billion. Just for reference, the initial $350 billion approved in round one was gone in a little over a week. We are expecting this second round of funding to be gone most likely by the end of this week. So if you own a small business and are considering applying, I would say move as quickly as possible to do so. We don't know if there will be additional rounds of funding beyond round two. So like I said, if you're thinking about applying and considering it, you may want to get that application in now. I would certainly say start with your financial institution. So if you have a banking relationship, usually that will be the best place to start. A lot of banks, due to the volume of demand, have had to limit their response to their own customers. Atlantic Union was initially doing the same thing, but we've been able to get through so many, and our process is pretty well oiled at this point. So if your financial institution is not able to accept PPP loans, or they're not feeling good about the prospects of getting you through, then please feel free to apply through Atlantic Union. Everything is going to be run through that website that I linked into the chat. We are hoping that with where we are in the process, we should be able to get applications through within 24 hours of hitting submit. So it's taken a lot to get to this point. I will tell you, it has not been an easy process, and that's not just a complaint on our end, but just to help point out, sort of if you have applied, maybe what your financial institution has been dealing with. We ended up in about a week lead time from knowing this program was going to happen until we got the details, working with a third party basically to generate a platform for us to help automate some of the application process. There are banks all over the country trying to submit applications through the same program, and the SBA has done a tremendous job. I know there's been a lot of people posting information about frustration, and sure, the process has not worked as well as anybody has wanted it to. But we're talking about approving by the end of this round two over $600 billion in loan applications within a 3-week period, and that's just crazy volume. I mean, Atlantic Union has done 10,000 so far. We'll likely get through somewhere around 14,000 before it's all said and done. And just to give you some perspective, in a normal year, our entire bank will approve and close roughly 7,500 loans. So in a 3-week period, we're going to try to fund 1.5 times what our full year output would typically be, in addition to trying to, make sure that our customers are doing okay and managing folks that aren't involved in the PPP process. In terms of other general advice that I can give while we're going through COVID, and folks that own small businesses are trying to figure out, where they can turn to for help if they need it. Again, talk to your financial institution. If it's us, that's great. If it's not, that's fine too. Banks all over the state and all over the country have been encouraged and would do so willingly on their own to help support their small business customers. For us, folks that have reached out and asked for assistance with, loan payment deferments, for example, we've been able to streamline a process to make that happen. We want people worrying about making sure that they can keep their doors open, making sure they can pay their people, making sure that they can, at the end of this, stay open and continue. The last thing we want them to be worrying about is whether or not they can make their loan payment on time. If you are able to operate and run your business, and plenty of people are in a remote fashion, then that's great. Don't take the help if you don't need it, but if you need it, don't be embarrassed to reach out for it, and don't feel like because you raise your hand that the bank is going to sort of smack you on the wrist and say, you're in default and there's a problem. We are here to help our customers. And like I said, Atlantic Union certainly doing that, but I've got colleagues all through the banking industry, and banks throughout the state have been doing the same. So don't be afraid to reach out for help if you need it. In terms of the application process and things that have caused the most issues for us, and maybe delayed applications getting processed, it would be just missing information. So you can follow that link and you can find the latest application form provided by the SBA, and you can provide the list or see the list of documents that you need to provide along with the application so we can verify the information. If you're not sure if you should provide something, provide it anyway. You can never provide too much information. If we don't need it, no harm there, but if we need it and you didn't provide it, then we're gonna have to sort of hit pause on your application and wait till we get it. So, supporting documentation that outlines how you calculated your average monthly payroll is gonna be the most important. But there's a couple other documents that we're gonna need to verify who the owners of the business are, make sure the people that are applying are authorized to do that, and the people that will ultimately sign documents are authorized to do that. So provide as much information as possible. Pay attention to detail on the application. It's sort of like a true-false test. There's a bunch of answers that you answer no, but there's one if you answer no, you get kicked out because you answered incorrectly. So pay attention to what the questions are asking and making sure you're answering correctly. And like I said, providing all of the information that is required. Some of it may seem like trivial things, but I've been on the line of our team processing and putting things in through the SBA, and there are certain spots where if we don't have something to put in, the SBA won't let us move forward. So everything asked on the application is asked for a reason, and it's important information. Those would honestly be the big tips that I would provide in terms of the application process. If you have questions, there is a resource through that website, but another great place to look is the U.S. Treasury's website. And I'll put that in the chat as well. It's basically just home.treasury.gov, and almost immediately at the top of the site, you will see for small business seeking direct relief from COVID, click here, and that will provide you all of the rules surrounding the PPP program. We have not played a direct role in the EIDL loan program or the economic injury disaster loans. That's something that's run directly by the SBA. It includes a loan advance of up to $10,000, and I believe a portion of that is a grant where there's no repayment expected. So you can find some information on that there. I don't have a great bit of detail because we've been so focused on PPP. But you can read all the rules on PPP, including how to calculate what you qualify for and how to figure out how the calculations for loan forgiveness will work. So for folks that have not really studied PPP, the idea of the program is you're applying for what is roughly the equivalent of 2.5 months of payroll for your business. That is what you qualify for. As long as you spend that money on a list of particular expenses, then at the end of 8 weeks, you can apply for loan forgiveness. If you have spent it correctly, and if you've retained employees with that money, then the SBA will forgive 100% of the loan. So if you do everything right, it will be a great thing for you and for your employees. And the whole idea behind this is not necessarily to keep your business afloat, but it's to help you continue to pay people and really ease the burden on the unemployment system. They're trying to keep people getting a paycheck so people can keep employed, essentially. So the big things to look out for in terms of spending the money for 100% forgiveness, one, you'll set a benchmark of how many employees you have. You need to make every effort to either bring back or retain that number of employees. So if you apply for the loan and receive proceeds and you eliminate half your staff, they're going to discount your forgiveness amount. The other part is making sure you spend the proceeds on qualified expenses. Now, there are several items that are included in the qualified expense category. Number one is payroll. Mortgage interest expense is also included, utilities or rent. So you can use the proceeds for all of those things, but at least 75% has to be used for payroll. So don't take that money and use it for a bunch of other things. You need to use it for payroll. Otherwise, you jeopardize how much of that loan will be forgiven at the end of the period. The terms of the loan have more or less been dictated by the U.S. Treasury. Once you reach the end of, most banks are providing an interest-only period. Ours is 6 months. So once you reach the end of the 6-month period, no payments are expected until that point. Ideally, your loan will have been forgiven. But if you have a portion that is not forgiven for whatever reason, that portion will be financed over 24 months and will include a 1% interest rate. All of those things are dictated by the SBA. The bank nor the SBA can charge a fee for the origination of this loan. So if somebody tells you you need to pay a fee, go somewhere else. They're giving you the wrong information. Some folks are using servicers to apply for the application. You're welcome to do so, but a lot of banks have said we're not worrying about paying those folks. I know folks are trying to make money where they can, but in some cases people are lining up to do that maybe for the wrong reason. So we're just staying out of that business. But those are sort of the highlights and some of the potential pitfalls of the PPP loan program. Like I said, I'll be around for the Q&A. Feel free to take a look at the resource that I linked in the chat and look forward to hopefully answering some questions later on. And again, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Glad I could be with you guys. This has been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Adam. This is such a hot topic right now. So yay, thank you so much for bringing that. And by the way, all the links that Adam shared, we're going to send you an email afterwards this evening where you'll have all the links included in that information. So if you missed it, it's fine. We're going to get it to you. Not a problem. Okay, so we're going to play a little game, okay? Before we hear from Miss Janna Hall, which you don't want to miss, so you got to stick around for it. But this is a game for prizes and bragging rights. Okay, so you want to play. All right, if you have a sheet of paper, you just need a sheet of paper. It doesn't have to be this size. It could be a notebook paper, anything you have around. Everybody got a sheet of paper? Show it in the cameras. I see you. I'm looking for you, Aaron. Megan, I see you. Michael, Gwen. Gwen's got a paper. Faith has a paper. Dolores has her paper. Okay, good. And you need a writing stick. That's it. Sharpie, pen, doesn't matter. I see them. I see you guys. All right. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. Now, this might require a little bit of social media, but we're going to talk about it in a little bit, so you'll be able to play. Okay, Janna and Faith will be able to help us out if we need it. So over the next two speakers, or so far, if Adam has said something that has inspired you, intrigued you, something, a word or a phrase or a quote that resonates with you, then you're going to write it down on your paper, take a picture, and put it on either Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you just want to tag us and hashtag. Okay, you're going to hashtag BLK RVA, hashtag visit Richmond. Okay, so I have the pleasure, absolute distinct pleasure, of introducing you to Janna Hall. Janna is a Richmond native, and she's the CEO of Leap Innovative Group. It's a digital marketing and brand development agency. Janna, she relocated to New York City in about 2011, where she began her career in digital marketing at agencies and large nonprofits. In February of 2016, Janna decided to bring her experience back to her hometown of Richmond, Virginia, and launch her own digital marketing agency to provide strategy development, execution, and copywriting services to local and national brands. So she's good at this. Janna's passion for entrepreneurship inspired her to launch Fun Employed in 2017, which is a movement that provides resources to educate and connect dreamers who are monetizing their passion and doing what they love full time. With her platform, she encourages others to get into the driver's seat of their professional career and build a life and make a living doing something that they're proud of. Above all, Janna believes that success should be measured not by societal standards and pressure, but by our willingness to take the leap and cultivate the life of our wildest dreams. Janna, please go ahead whenever you're ready. We're excited to hear from you.
Thank you for that introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Janna Hall. It's a pleasure to be here, sipping my shoe crazy wine and chatting with all of you all today. Cheers, one more time. I'm drinking the Sweet Bella, which is my favorite. So, all right. So today we're going to be talking about growing your business using social media. As Andrea said, I launched my business in 2016 with a focus on social media because, as we've seen, social media has really kind of just evolved into like the place to be for your business. I like to say that if you're not online, you're nowhere at all, because it's so, I mean, that's where everyone is. And so it's important to have a good strategy, and it's important to really put some thought behind what you're doing and being intentional about how you're engaging with your audience. And especially during these times. So things are kind of weird right now. We're in this really, transitional period, and we're all just readjusting. And so, adjusting your social media strategy to the times we're in is really important. So I just want to talk briefly with you all about some of the ways that I have found are most effective in growing your business using social media. So again, to recap, I'm Janna Hall. I founded Leap Innovative Group in 2016. We have evolved to a creative marketing agency. So we focus on digital marketing, which is a social media, email marketing, copywriting, things like that, but also doing some brand development, helping brands figure out how to tell their story in the most impactful way, making sure that brands actually have a story to tell, how to, clearly communicate what you're all about, and doing some influencer relations. So working with brands who want to find some influencers to help push their message and their products, and also working with influencers who want to connect with brands and begin to monetize their own platforms. And then, of course, business consulting for people who just have some questions and just want to chat and get some help with their strategy. So that's what we do here. And so I'm happy to share some of my insights with you today. All right, so our goals for today. So when we're talking about growing your business or growing your business on social media, or really growing your platforms during this time, we're going to be focused on three things: refreshing your content, so staying timely with your messaging; creatively engaging your audience, so thinking outside the box to do something different; and offering solutions. So we all know what the problem is nowadays, and so how can you help solve it with your business? So number one, refresh your content. So the biggest thing that I encourage all brands to do is to tailor your messaging to the times we're in. The biggest mistake companies can make is to kind of just go along with business as usual with like their usual content strategy that they have, their usual messaging, without really thinking about, what is going on in the world and what are my customers and my audience, what are they dealing with? And so, as you write your captions or as you're posting things, whether it's through email marketing or social media, be sensitive to things like stay-at-home orders and the quarantine. Think about people with affected incomes. Some small businesses have shut down completely. Some are really struggling to figure out how they're going to make ends meet. And so you just want to make sure that in everything you're doing, you're being sensitive to what people are dealing with and tailoring your messaging, because you don't want to seem like you're just kind of like out in your own little world, not really tuned in and tapped into what is really happening. And you don't want to be tone deaf. And so think about how you can tailor your messaging to the times that we're in. Use relevant photography and stock photos that reflect our current state. So, if we're in this quarantine and we're social distancing, it makes sense to show families who are quarantined together, who are, being, safe in place, things like that. Showing small groups, and then showing just individuals. Lots of people are at home by themselves. And so thinking about how to use, whether it's your own photography or stock photos that you get online, making sure that they reflect the times that we're in. So it doesn't make sense to use pictures of large groups or restaurants or parties, because that's just not our reality right now. And so making sure that as you begin to rethink your strategy and you're coming up with ideas for, the month of May is coming up. So a lot of you all are planning your content in advance. Make sure that you're keeping those things in mind. And then lastly, when it comes to your content, try to show some transparency. The biggest thing that people love to do, now the time we're in social media is this age of kind of oversharing, and, you really get to get a real up close and personal look at some of your favorite brands and some of your, favorite celebrities. And so I think it's really important that you maintain transparency, or that you begin to be transparent. How is your company adjusting to the times? Are you forced to, rely strictly on delivery services? Are you having to shut down? Is your team now adjusting to working from home and figuring out Zoom meetings? And, showing really what it really looks like to have a business in this time. Show what it looks like, if you're a solopreneur, how have you adjusted your own day-to-day life? And so I think that's the human part of brands are really what people are looking at right now, making sure you're maintaining a human connection. And that all goes back to being transparent. Now, you don't want to overshare, because you still are a business, you are a brand. So you don't want to show, too much. You don't want to get, too granular and too detailed, but you definitely want people to know that there is a human behind this page, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever. There's a human behind here. And not only do we understand what you're going through, but we're also going through the transitions too. And so maintain that level of humanity. And that's really effective in getting people, one, to continue to support you or begin to support you, and just to keep that relationship between your target audience or your customer and your business really strong. Next up, creatively engage your audience. So we have seen a million ways that companies are getting creative with how they are, engaging people. I saw a commercial the other day, and I can't remember the brand that it was associated with, but they had a lot of celebrities, and I want to say they were athletes, and they were kind of jumping on Zoom calls. There was, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James are all getting on the Zoom call, and they're talking, they're laughing, they're, joking, and then they're like, well, how are you? They just have this moment of, just being really real. And so think about ways you can encourage people to kind of jump on different trends that connect people. There's so many challenges out here. We've seen the Don't Rush Challenge and a million others that are happening on TikTok and Instagram or whatever. And so think about, how you can get either your employees on board or, your audience on board. And so with Fun Employed recently, I did a work from home office challenge. So I have what's called the Forever Fun Employed podcast for dreamers, doers, and audacious entrepreneurs. And a big part of that is, giving, talking about careers and talking about this work life, and especially now talking about what we're going through and how we're all adjusting. So I started the work from home challenge to kind of encourage people to share what their home office looks like. So, some people are working from home for the first time ever, and they have makeshift offices that they've maybe set up in their bedroom or their dining room or kitchen. People are, maybe have a designated office space. And so I really wanted to encourage people to share what their space looks like, to hopefully encourage other people to kind of spruce up their place and find some place that, find a way to make their workspace their own so that they can be productive. We've seen with Toria Edmonds-Howell, she started the social distancing chop challenge, which is super creative. It's a way to engage people and get people in their kitchens and trying new things and just trying new recipes, creating recipes with the secret ingredients that she provides. And so what I thought was really cool is there have been some private chefs who have joined in, who own restaurants or who have their own, businesses, and they've joined the challenges to show off kind of how they are cooking and show off their creativity. And that's a great way to not only, participate in something that's, already going on and already popular and already getting a lot of engagement, but to introduce yourself to a new audience. And so not only do you want to try new challenges, but you want to hop into other challenges and offer that support for other people who are doing things too. And so that's a great way to build your audience, to grow your business, to grow, increase your exposure. And then ultimately you can convert them once you have them kind of over in your corner of the internet. Expand your platform use. This is a big one. I know most businesses are used to using Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, maybe Pinterest, and that's kind of where it ends. But think about how you can get creative within those platforms and use other platforms. So Instagram Live, a lot of people, every time I log on Instagram, I see a string of people who are live, and, it's great as that is. And, everyone's using it, everyone's, jumping on live with other people, but it really is a great tool to engage your audience in the moment, to kind of show them the face behind the business. Again, going back to that transparency, showing who's running the account, having real conversations. And then, what's great about that is even though it's an hour of your time on Instagram Live, you can save the live and upload it to Instagram TV so it stays on your feed and on your profile forever. And so that's a really cool thing to do. Facebook Live is a cool thing to use. TikTok, I know everyone's using TikTok now. It was a platform for mostly Gen Z, but now we see older people getting on there, families are getting on there, even brands are starting to find creative ways to use it. And so think about a way that's authentic, that makes sense for your brand and your business, and try to tap into the TikTok craze in a unique way, but also, again, authentic, because people can sniff out when you're just trying to jump on something and it makes no sense. And so you want to make sure that it ties in with your brand message and your goals and things like that. And lastly, for the platform, Zoom. Zoom is a great platform. Not only are we on here today for this fun happy hour, but it's a great way to have more of an intimate conversation with your audience. Just last week, a client and I, My Fiduciary Advisor, which is a financial advising firm for millennials, we hosted our first ever Wind Down Wednesday money Q&A. And so people logged in, just like how we did today, with their wine, and they asked questions. And this was a great platform to really ask questions anonymously about finances. A lot of people are funny about their money, and so they don't want to put their business out there. And so Zoom offered, you can ask a question anonymously, which was great. And so people, really talked about what was going on in terms of money nowadays. And so people were asking, what's the best way to use my stimulus check? What should I do? Is now a good time to try to get into the housing market? With the economy, does it make sense? And then some people, were asking questions about student loans. Do I need to pay my student loans right now? Does it make sense to hold off if they're doing some forgiveness, or they're, kind of changing some of the rules on that? And so it's a great way to really get an intimate connection with your audience and really talk to them and let them see who you are and ask questions one-on-one. It kind of takes it out of the live situation where it's broadcasted to everyone. It's able to be a little more controlled and more intimate, which is great. So try to think about ways you can expand your platform and try different things, try new things. This is a great time to be experimental. We have nothing but time, many of us. And so, might as well try something new and see how it works for you. And lastly, partner with influencers. So I think influencer marketing is so great because it allows you to kind of get in front of a whole new audience. You may have your audience as the business, but an influencer may have, access to people that you would have never, thought you would be able to reach, or you would have never had access to. And so influencer marketing, which is a great tool, and you don't have to use, what's called micro influencers, which is 10,000 followers to 100,000 followers. Many of us don't have access to those people, but nano influencers are actually really effective as well. And so nano influencers are people with 10,000 followers or less. And what I found is that, Richmond has so many influential people, follower count aside, who really have something positive to say. They're using their platform in a great way. They have great engagement. People trust them. And so those are the people you can partner with to really get your message out there, whether it's for a campaign or whether you want to host a live event. I worked with one of my clients last month. We did, she owns an herbal tea company. And so we worked with different people who were considered influencers, who may not have large followings, but their audience trusts them. And we sent them products. We sent them free tea products that they're able to use, whether it's herbal teas that you can drink, or bath teas, or, you know, tea rinses for your hair. These are all things that, you know, drive home this thing of self-care. And so in this time now, we're all trying to take care of ourselves. And so, you know, furthering that message, it was just, influencer marketing worked great there. And so think about how you can partner strategically with people in the community who have reach and who have access to audiences that you want to get in front of. Lastly, offer solutions. So we all know what the problem is, and every business is started because there's a problem and you have a solution. So how does that work for you on social media in these times we're in? So a big thing, again, keeping in mind people's income levels and how it's ebbing and flowing right now, offering discounts on products, offering virtual services, and Faith will talk about that a little bit later. But maintaining, being sensitive to the times we're in. So, you know, always offering specials, promoting specials on your Instagram or your whatever social platforms you're using. And then using virtual options as well. So maybe you can't operate your business the way you normally would. Say if you were a massage therapist, you can't massage right now. So maybe you can start promoting virtual services where you're working one-on-one with people to teach them how to access trigger points at home and doing at-home massages. If you're a nail tech, maybe you can help people, you know, learn how to give little manicures that'll hold them over until we're able to go back out and get our nails done. And so just think about ways you can offer value to people, and make sure you're always promoting that online, letting people know you're here for them. You're here for them this time. You're not just trying to sell, but you're also offering things to people because you care about your audience and you want them to be well in these times. Providing relevant.
I just want to let you know you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay, great. Provide relevant tips and tricks. So again, you know, what expertise do you have and how can you bring that over to social media? Now, I'm a big proponent of paying people for their expertise and paying people for their time, but I think now is a great time to be generous with your information and your knowledge. So offering, you know, whether it's lives on how to do something, you know, whatever your industry is, think about how you can add value to those people. And then of course, hosting giveaways. So I worked with a client today. They have a restaurant and they want to do a giveaway for essential personnel. And so, you know, this is a great way to show your connection to the community, show that you are in touch with what's happening, and you're doing everything you can to really kind of give back. So you, of course, you can give away products, food, virtual services, and of course, merchandise. Like this Black RVA. All right, and so to recap, the 3 biggest things you can do during this time is refresh your content, stay timely with your message, creatively engage your audience, think outside the box and do different things to stay fresh and relevant, and offer solutions. We all understand the problem. Think about how you can help solve it. And with that, thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you all. Of course, you can reach me if you have any questions. You can reach me directly at Janna at Leap Innovative Group. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to work with you. And you can learn more on leapinnovativegroup.com. And you can connect with me personally on Instagram at Janna M. Hall. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Janna. That was fabulous. You should have seen the chat because I was in it. I was instigating it too. It was so great. We have questions for you coming up because I know I put one in there, but I can't wait to get to that because that's going to be fun. I learned a lot. I also learned that TikTok equals Vegas. Thank you, Adam Hill.
I need to read these comments.
So that was a lot of fun. So and that's what I said. That should actually be what's on my like TikTok equals Vegas, but it should be. But don't forget to post. You have about 15 minutes left to do that exercise. We actually are going to close that whole exercise down in 15 minutes. So if Janna or Faith, who's coming up next, if they say something that resonates with you, be sure to put it on social media. If you don't know anything about a hashtag, I would suggest calling Janna immediately. Like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You need to talk to Janna so she can help you out. All right, so we're excited to introduce the it girl of Richmond in terms of her tours and where you need to be at any given point in time. She knows this city backwards and forwards. So we're going to hear from our final speaker and learn from Dr. Faith Wilkerson. She arrived in Richmond in 2000 to attend VCU. She holds a bachelor's in mass communications, master's in higher education, as well as a doctorate in educational leadership. She has worked at VCU for over 15 years, managing many of the university's annual traditions, as well as overseeing student-centered diversity and inclusion programs. In 2019, she accepted the role of program director for the Minority Education Center housed within the VCU School of Education. Dr. Wilkerson also serves as an adjunct professor at the University of Richmond and sits on the board of directors for Theater Lab and the VCU Alumni Association. She somehow does all of this while constantly working on her passion, which is Unlocking RVA, an event planning and promotions company in Richmond. Dr. Wilkerson, please take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. Sometimes when I hear my own bio, I get tired myself. So thank you so much for Richmond Region Tourism, the Black RVA team, for inviting me here to speak with you all today. I am doing the basic, simple Chardonnay today for Shoe Crazy. I have not opened mine yet because I want this to be a coherent presentation. So when I'm done, I will gladly toast it up with you all. My glass and everything is ready for you all. So essentially today, I just want to talk about leveraging your networks. And so what we're going to do is kind of piggyback off a lot of things that Janna just talked about and give you some more real life examples on how to implement some of the things she talked about. So let's see how I can make this work. I think I do that. There we go. So I want to give you guys some additional background on Unlocking RVA because my bio is really focused on me. But again, we were launched back in 2016 to dispel the rumor that there's nothing to do in Richmond, which I hope that you guys will yell in the comments that that is not true. It's not a true statement. And so what began is me just posting about different things that were happening around the city, quickly morphed into us becoming pretty much what I call like a 360 event planning company, which means that, you know, Unlocking RVA now has the capability of helping you in part or in whole to plan, manage, or market your event from start to finish. So we can do everything from 200-person birthday parties to large-scale food festivals or concerts. We get asked a lot if we do weddings. I think that you should know the answer to that is no, and I think you should know why. Weddings are not my ministry, but if I really like you and we connect, I possibly can help you find a DJ. It's possibly all I can help you do, all right? And overall, though, in 2017, we also began developing monthly experiences that directly related to the people that began to follow along with our social media platforms. And so from that, we birthed a monthly event called Hip Hop Karaoke, which is just what it sounds like. It's a karaoke event that focuses on hip hop, R&B, and all that good stuff. And then another platform that we have is called Made by RVA, which is our home to support and promote our local makers and artisans. So those are the two things that we kind of do with that. So we're also here for basic social media promotion if you have an upcoming event. And just like Janna, small business consulting for those folks who are, you know, coming up in the ranks and have questions about what it means to start a business from scratch. So today our goals are going to be talking about how you can leverage these networks that you're building in order to successfully, hopefully, generate $1 or $2. All right, ways that you can stay connected with your consumers and possibly find new ways you can ensure your business is around for the long haul. So my goal is to pretty much hopefully share some things you haven't thought about before while providing some real life examples from not only Unlocking RVA, but a lot of other Black owned businesses that are around the Richmond and Virginia area. All right, so the first thing is generating money. All right, so one of the biggest things a lot of our small businesses are tackling is how to generate money in these uncertain times. So in addition to many of the resources that our representative from Atlantic Union Bank laid out to us, there are a couple of things that Unlocking RVA is doing, plus a couple of other business owners that I think are doing phenomenal work as well. The first item is maybe something you may or may not have thought about, which is creating an e-store. All right. I have dealt with and do work with a lot of companies who relied on open marketplaces, festivals, or person-to-person sales in order to generate those monies for their business. But of course, at this point, we're not able to do that. And so becoming an online presence is super important now more than ever. So if you have a website currently, most of the times if you're on anything of reliability, so if you're using a Wix or a Squarespace, for example, they all have a reputable store that you can build upon within your website. Some also offer you ability to do third-party apps like Shopify, for example. So if you're selling clothes or candles or hair care products, things like that. Unlocking RVA is a great example, though, of a business who doesn't have a product. So I do events, right? So this week, we actually decided to launch our own e-store, but an e-store that allowed us to push our brand. So we actually not partnered, but we ended up using the third-party site Bonfire, which is actually a locally owned business as well. And so it's an amazing site that allows you to place your branding on pretty much a whole bunch of stuff: shirts, cups, hats, or hoodies, as you see here in the example on your screen. So it's super cool because, again, as a small business owner, financially, I always can't afford to buy a whole bunch of things, get it printed, and then ship out directly, right? So with Bonfire, they actually have all the stuff you need in-house. So they have all the products, and you just simply add your visuals to it, and they will ship and send you the money. So essentially, all you're doing is creating this store that allows people access to support your brand. If you have an interest in creating something that's a little bit more intricate than just putting your logo somewhere, they do also have a team of, the word is, yep. See, this is what happens, yep. They have a team in place that can help you with a marketing team. It's not marketing, but a digital team to help you kind of create whatever visual you want for what I think is a pretty nominal fee, to be honest with you. And again, that's what we're using right now. The other thing is to offer gift cards. So a lot of times we've seen a lot with our restaurants offering digital gift cards, but it's also something other businesses can offer as well, especially if you offer a service. So Janna talked a lot about doing these one-off kind of things where you're kind of connecting with people. But in this kind of instance, you can kind of do things where people might buy a gift card or purchase a service from you now, and then possibly redeem it later. To give you an example again of Unlocking RVA, we are 95% sell most of our event tickets on the Eventbrite platform. And so recently they put in a plugin called Gift Up, which actually allows you to offer gift cards as an alternative to a monetary refund to those that are attending your events that you had to cancel or postpone. It also allows you to actually reach out to past attendees and actually encourage them to purchase this gift card to use in the future when you restart up again and are able to launch your fun events, okay? Another option is delivery and pickup. So a lot of folks, like I said before, we're relying on that person-to-person kind of opportunity to sell products. If you are not able to do so, which most of us are not, there's two businesses that I've loved seeing how they've thrived in this particular season that we're in. One of them is Sheralina's Cakes, and the other one is a company based out of Northern Virginia that sells elderberry syrup called the On the Vine. And so essentially these ladies are either doing the drive-up markets, they're actually delivering to homes, and in some cases, in the case of On the Vine, actually shipping directly to people statewide. I can't stress enough how awesome it is to be able to order a birthday cake and get it delivered to you. I think most people would agree the biggest stressor is actually trying not to drop the birthday cake from the car inside. I think all of us can agree that's probably the most stressful part of it. So those are two companies that I think are doing a great job with that. So next, I kind of want to, again, that whole concept of staying connected. Janna and I can't really stress enough how important it is not to let your followers, your customers, go dark and not be reached out to and connected with. Unlocking RVA somehow, some way, well, I guess I know how, because everyone's at home. We've pretty much jumped 3,000 to 4,000 followers within the last month and a half, because now people have nothing better to do but this, right? So they're finding you in various ways that you didn't have the option for them to do so before. So why not make it count to kind of get some money from that? So the first thing goes back to that one-on-one paid sessions. There is a local hairdresser by the name of Carmen Davis who is doing what she's calling Ring a Stylist. And so for all my ladies and my gentlemen that are here on the chat, basically you're able to book one-on-one sessions virtually with Carmen, so she can basically give you a hair routine. And the best part that I love about her, she's also utilizing this delivery method where once she has that contact with you, she can actually ship you whatever products that she might have suggested to you so that you can, again, follow her stuff to a T. For me, that method just leads to so much more. It leads to her being able to definitely secure customers that she may not have had prior to now and hopefully have them return. The other part goes back to going live with your followers. So again, I know we're all tired of it. I get tired of it. Sometimes Janna talked about you logging in and seeing this long string of people who are live, but I can't stress to you how important it is for you to actively participate with your followers. I talked earlier about how I have a brand called Hip Hop Karaoke. If you can believe it, we went live with Hip Hop Karaoke. It was just as hilarious as you think it could be. But people enjoyed the experience. Essentially, we had someone that would just pop into the live chat, sing whatever song they wanted to sing, and just let it all out. And it made for good laughter. I also still do our monthly open mic series that we partner with the Urban Hang Suite as well. And so again, how that works is another way to kind of do it is to get money as well. So myself and the owner of the Urban Hang Suite, Kelly Lemon, go live. And then essentially we tell people, here's how you can donate, whether that's to her staff or whether that's to my staff here. We flip flop every week. But again, it's just to ensure people are hitting that follow button, and are engaging with us in the way that they're used to. So that way, when we blend back into normalcy, people are still familiar and know what it is we do. The biggest takeaway is not to go dark, okay? We want to make sure that you guys are using those listservs, those monthly correspondence. Make sure that they know how they can utilize your business in the future if you have nothing to offer right now. We talked a lot about the whole concept of, influencing marketing and keeping things together. The whole point of that is to generate long-term financial growth. So it's not about one quick hit. We want to make sure that we're connecting with our folks and creating those relationships that allow us to build in the future without you having to be present, if that makes sense. So Shoe Crazy is a great example of that. Gwen didn't email us and say, hey, can I sponsor your session? We were sitting here talking about, okay, it's a wind down. Well, that's a no-brainer. We need to do Shoe Crazy. All of us had great experiences. Unlocking RVA has worked with her staff many times doing many events. And that was, I will risk my life to go get this bottle. And I did. I went all the way down to the Urban Hang Suite and got a bottle. And that's the whole point. It's about creating those relationships now so that later somebody else that you weren't even thinking about will become your biggest advocate. This last slide is a little bit, it's a lot, but I promise you that there's a couple of different hyperlinks, and I know that they said they will be emailing you guys this presentation, so you'll be able to click on any of the things that you see here. But they're also Googleable, if that is a word that we can now use in 2020. The bigger thing that I want you guys to take up with and to use for this time that you have in your homes is to tie up those loose ends, all right? Knock out those to-do lists. What have you been pulling off, all right? Janna touched on updating those stock images. How are you sprucing up your brand? Have you updated that website? Is stuff up there from 2015, okay? And have you opened that QuickBooks account? Just asking, I don't know, maybe you could talk to Adam about actually opening up a real account with Atlantic Union to get a business account. I think those are some things you can do, again, virtually from the comforts of your home and not having to always worry about going outside. The next part that I really want to talk to you about is protecting your brand. These are also things that can be done from your home, all right? Again, these are things that are painstakingly annoying. However, they're needed to what I consider becoming a reputable business, all right? That tax ID number, super important, especially when it comes down to PPP, all right? Those are definitely the things that they're gonna be asking for. Have you designated yourself as an LLC, a nonprofit, or a sole proprietorship? Those are all big words, but everyone kind of fits into some sort of category. Some of us might need to register with the State Corporation Commission, which is allowing you to basically do business in Virginia. Should you consider trademarking or copyrighting your logo or brand name? I will say Unlocking RVA did take that leap. We are a trademark name as of 2019 because we felt that was important to make sure that no one can come and take away what we built the last 4 years, okay? The last.
I just want to let you have 2 minutes left.
Okay, girl, I'm about to say you disappeared off my screen. I was looking for your face. The last part is setting yourself apart, all right, AKA get certified. A lot of people don't really realize that there's a lot of different avenues to take to make you stand apart from the next business that might be competing for business, okay? The Small Women and Minority Owned Business, AKA SWAM, and EVA are two great things to get certified that are free and allow you to get a leg up. I will tell you, in the state of Virginia, many companies cannot even look at a business to hire unless they are SWAM and registered in eVirginia. So I would definitely, if you're a person that has something that you want to share and sell and promote, whether it's a service or a product, to definitely get certified with that. And then if those don't fit in for your brand, figure out what else does. I have an example here of something that Unlocking RVA can probably do, and this will really more so be on a personal standpoint for myself, is becoming a certified special event professional. Those are going to be those commas you'll probably see in most of your tourism staff's names, because again, they are doing events at a larger scale, and that just makes them more marketable to go out and know that people know that they know what they're doing. Other than that, the picture that you see here is an example of how Unlocking RVA is attempting to, again, tie up our loose ends. And so this week, we actually launched our app. So we're super excited. It's for download on Apple Store and Google Play. And so it's something we have been working on for months. And so finally, we were able to release it. So while you're at home, you can also click download. I appreciate that 1000%. So to recap again, you know, we want to make sure that cash flow is still going on. I can't see my screen because there we go. So make it easy for your consumer to support your business. Let's not make it hard, okay? Like Janna said, be transparent. Talk about what you're going through as well so people can connect with you and engage. Keep in touch. Make sure you're engaging with your followers and connecting with them through multiple platforms, including TikTok, which I refuse to download. Also, set the bar. Your business deserves to be respected and protected in every room. So don't be afraid to take the leg up, take the leap, and spend that money for that trademark, those copyright things, whatever you're thinking about doing, all right? So I think I just beeline through that last part. But again, all of this will be available to you when they email the link out. My information is here as well, and I encourage you to follow along if you're not already. And outside of that, thank you. I can open my wine now.
Yay! Yay! Okay, great job, Faith. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, we're going to open it up to Q&A for just a bit. Please use this as your opportunity to ask the experts to help you in your business or your organization. If you have a question for a particular person, please be sure to include that in the question so we know where to direct it. I know we're running out of time here. We got about 13 minutes remaining. That was quick math that I just did there. We got about 13 minutes remaining. We're going to take a few questions. Then we're going to do our gift card giveaway, and we'll take any other questions we have for as long as we can, as long as our presenters are with us. And if you missed the networking at the very beginning, we will be here to continue it, okay? So we'll kick it off again, and we'll stay as long as you're here. If you're here forever, we'll be here forever with you, okay? So we want to use this as a time for you guys to get to know each other, to meet new people. That's what this is for, because we can't meet all together the way we would love to meet, but we certainly can do the best we can in the situation that we have. So I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine. She's our chat captain. She's been like talking to everybody in the chat. I've been talking along with her. I suggest she ask, the first question should be, can Adam do his dance again when Faith announced that her app was available? You should see the dance. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
There we go.
Hard, but it's about all I got.
That's a TikTok, Adam.
Okay,
All right, Jazzy.
there we go.
TikTok. Take it away, Jazzy.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. Like Andre mentioned, if you have a question, you can either drop it in the chat and I'll ask our experts, or you can raise your hand, which I see some hands raised already. You can raise your hand and I'll turn it over to you, and you can unmute your mic. I have one question I'm going to start off with that was dropped in the chat by Rashida. There we go, pulling it back up. Thank you so much, Rashida, for asking a question. This question is geared towards Janna. So the question is there a sequence for launching on social? Is it okay to build a social audience before you have your website live?
Yes, it is okay to build your social platforms. I think a big mistake that people make is that they feel like they have to have everything kind of like packaged up and ready to go and put in a bow before they launch. But I always like to say done is better than perfect. And so do what you can when you can. And so if all you have right now is social media, then start working to build your audience and building up your content. And then you'll have an audience there when you're ready to launch. And so you can just drive the people over there. You don't have to wait. You don't have to have, have all these ducks in a row before you start. Just go ahead and start.
Ooh, that was a good posting one. Done is better than perfect.
Okay.
Okay, that wasn't okay. You were saying that's good.
I like that one. Alrighty, next question. We're gonna stay with you, Janna, and then I'm actually gonna turn it over to Gwen afterwards. So Gwen, get ready with your question, okay? All right, Janna, one more question for you, and what defines an influencer? So I know on social media you do have the option to say that you're an influencer. However, those people may not have the social media following that we expect. So what defines an official influencer?
So anyone can be an influencer. You just have to have influence in some way. And so you have to be, someone who can post consistently. There are, 4 things that you want to make sure that you can do. You can create content. You can post consistently. You can promote products or services or whatever the company wants you to promote, and you can convert. So that's the biggest thing. The 4th one is the convert is the hugest thing, because that's why people have influencers, because you want to be able to convert people into customers for the brand that you're promoting for. So, anyone can influence. There are some people who have worked with brands that have, a couple hundred followers, and there are some people who have lots of followers, but it's really about your ability to create content, post your content consistently, promote it, and convert people.
Agreed. And definitely consistency, I definitely think is key. Definitely key. All right, Gwen, I'm going to pass it over to you. What is your question?
Okay. Well, first I want to make a statement. This was a great panel, and you guys did a great job pulling together a really great panel. This was very informative, and it had some education, it had some fun, had some wine, which I love. My glass is empty, by the way. So I wanted to say that first. But my question is, 2 questions actually. How do you connect with an influencer? And then what's the difference between an influencer and a brand ambassador? Because we do use brand ambassadors for our products. So is there a difference, or is it just a difference in terminology? Are we talking semantics?
So sometimes there's a difference. A lot of people, brand ambassadors sometimes aren't paid. They are, a lot of times people use brand ambassadors to kind of go out to different events. Whether they have on shirts and they're getting people to come over to the table, things like that, that's a brand ambassador. Other people are, they're promoting online. Really, an influencer is someone who is monetizing their platform. So they're working with brands, they're pitching to brands, they have a number in mind, and they're getting either products for free or they're getting compensated for promoting those products. And really the way to connect with influencers, you can either do it just the old-fashioned, finding people you follow online and reaching out to them in their DMs, or you can work with someone like me, shameless plug, who focuses on influencer relations.
Okay.
I have over the years, I have either had friends or people that I have done business consultations with who are in the space of being an influencer. And so I work with the influencers to not only help them develop pitches and things like that, but I help connect them with the brand. So it's a lot of times the easier route is to go with an influencer agency or someone who does influencer relations and say, hey, I'm looking for a person who can do XYZ. Do you have anyone in your Rolodex, for lack of a better word, who could
Rolodex.
Do you have anyone who could possibly partner with my company to promote these products? And so then I would find the best person to present to you, and you can vet them and decide if they're the person that you want to represent your brand.
I love the shameless plug, and I'm going to reach out to you because I'm actually in need of that. Okay.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gwen, for that great question. And Janna, when you do get a chance, if you want to drop your how people can connect with you and if they want to reach out to you, I know we're going to send out more information afterwards. But I see, Shelly, you have the applause sign on, so I will pass it to you if you do have a question.
I did not have a question. Thank you for the opportunity. but definitely sending out that applause. It was a great panel, have definitely enjoyed this, took some good notes. I'm excited. I'm excited about things to come.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Shelly, for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. I see. I have a question, and you can actually unmute your mic. I don't want to say the name wrong because it's together. Is it Anise? Anna?
Yeah, Anna is fine.
Hi, Anna.
I'm representing Feed the Streets RVA, which is a local nonprofit in the area. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar. But I had a question about, I guess, just like how COVID-19 has really like impacted our schedules for the year. So if anybody could give us feedback on just like the adjustment from doing like events that are basically in person with a large gathering, if anybody could give feedback on just adjusting to online platforms or trying to transition what we had in our calendar year to a new space, because that's something that we met and talked about, and we do have plans, but I just wanted to see if anybody could give us some nuggets that we could take into consideration.
Yeah, so of course we know about Feed the Streets, just want to say that out loud. But I think, for us, it's almost kind of setting a buffer up. So when we initially had that first month of, stay at home, I already knew it was going to be a month after that. So it's almost like June is cute, but I'm almost here for July and August, right? And then with that online platforms, figuring out what is okay to go online and actually works for you. So Deandra Clark, who spoke earlier, who is the owner of Studio 4 Dance Company, we do an event called Cocktails and Choreo. So that's probably one of the events we'll probably have to take virtual and probably do Zoom and figure out how our sponsor looks and all that stuff. But for you all, I mean, is it safe to say you all are still possibly able to do some of the food service?
Well, that's kind of what we're trying to figure out now. Because things have been so up in the air with the quarantine, and essentially we kind of have been trying to figure out what's the best way to help people individually. So we have set up a Help the Streets fund, which is how we're like asking for funds to donate to people who are in need, like with any monetary issues that they might be facing due to the loss of jobs and employment. We're also trying to figure out a way to help local businesses. So we've talked about basically advertising different businesses and letting people know how to either pick up or get delivery from those businesses. So we're doing little things, but it's just like the big events. For example, we have an annual event called Kicking Cancer Kickball Tournament. And that is the event where people go out and actually play kickball together in order to raise money for a local organization that deals with breast cancer. So we have been just trying to figure out how to transition those type of events where people are actually coming out and meeting with us to come together and help others so that we can still have an impact throughout this pandemic.
Well, I wonder if that goes back to what Janna talked about in terms of what images you're putting out, right? So as soon as you said that, I imagined a family playing kickball in their backyard. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's you encouraging families or individuals and households to play against each other, perhaps. Mm-hmm. And again, or maybe people dressing up, and I just think about Dodgeball, the movie. But in the usual kind of outfits or whatever, again, just to be able to do tags and then talk about what you're raising money for, perhaps. I don't know, that may be something you could think about.
Thank you.
Unmute my mic. Thank you so much for that great question. Thank you, Faith, for your guidance and your answer.
Tamika, please close us out. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this, by the way. But Tamika, close us out.
Whole team, thank you so much. Did you guys enjoy yourself today? Did you have a good time? I did. Let's give a hand clap to our panelists and to All About Presentations. We had a great time. It was so fun and lots of wine. Thank you, Wynn, for allowing us to sponsor you or feature you on our panel today. So
thank you.
I just want you guys to know that I did put 2 links in the chat. One is to our YouTube video. So if you want to get a deeper dive into Black RVA, to learn more about the wonderful things, there's a great video that was created for Black RVA. So you can take that from the chat and post it and look at it when you get some time. Also, we have some merchandise. I know a lot of people commented about I'm sorry if it's blurry, but commented about the t-shirts. So we have t-shirts, shirts, we have tote bags and everything Black RVA. So if you'd like, please also go to our bonfire account. The link is also in the chat. You can purchase it, and all proceeds will go to the hospitality industry. So we want to make sure we get everyone back to working and support them during the COVID-19 situation. And then I would like to take one last toast together so that we all know that we will get through this together. And so I will see you all very, very soon. Very soon. So cheers, and thank you again for joining this today. And this is the first of many. So if you want to see more, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
It's like this
Thank you, Mika.